That's total system power draw. That's really impressive for that level of performance. 550 watts, 560 watts. Yeah, I'm done. I think this is it for me. And that's another part of my rationale for doing this, is that I'm not upgrading to the 5090, not just because of the plethora of problems and the artificial scarcity situation, and the problem, like, that thing consumes so much power that it's actually burning out this 16-pin connector, which is something that I predicted would happen before it even launched. And I predicted the artificial scarcity situation. I predicted everything I predicted on the, I think it was videocards.com, all happened, and I could show you. It was funny because I got into an argument with somebody. I said everything I said was going to happen actually happened. I said it was going to run too hot. It was going to marginal performance uplift over the previous generation. 30% in rasterization and only 40 to 50%. 40 to 50% best case scenario in like Cyberpunk 2077 in terms of ray tracing. I mean, that is an appreciable bump, but that's a $2,000 value proposition. That's it. Before getting scalped, if you can even buy it, it was $2,000 for the RTX 5090, and it was a 30% bump up and over the 4090 in terms of rasterization uplift, and only 50% in terms of ray tracing. No, absolutely not. Not for $2,000. Not. Now they're on eBay for freaking. They're on eBay for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. It's outrageous. Yeah, I still have to clean up. I still have old boxes of radiator boxes and all this other crap sitting around. Really love this panel. Love the HDR is amazing. Love the dual 4K. And that's another reason why I went with white this time around. I think the white really looks nice. The black looks good too as well, but I like the white chassis. I like how it basically reflects light better, of course, and so you have more lighting on your other components. But I also like the contrast, with the black PSU, the black reservoir, and the motherboard. Very happy with the way this came out. Really extremely happy with the way this came out. And it'll just sit here. It doesn't go up. There's no heat soak. There's no heat soak, dude. When I was filling this reservoir, it was freaking filling the loop. It took 4 liters of water. I've never seen that. Like, I have the fill bottle, which is 1 liter. It took 4 whole liters of water to fill the loop. I'm beyond happy with this. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep it there. Did I show you guys how I did? I was gonna. I think I neglected to get into how I got like such a good mount, because this is phenomenal. I showed you the data, the H1FO 64 snapshot data, 20 degree drop, 20 degree drop, dude. I've never seen this. I didn't even know that RTX 4090 could run at 35 degrees. Okay. This is like I'm browsing Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge or some other web browser temperatures. This is like there's nothing going on. I'm not doing any work kind of temperature. 35 degrees, that's idle desktop temperature. Not fucking, I'm running Cyberpunk 2077 with path tracing enabled, full tilt, nearly 400 watts, at 2700 megahertz temperature. This is, dude, I am fucking blown away, dude. I'm literally blown away. That is insane. That is fucking insane. Excuse my language. Well, what do you expect? I got 4 480s, dude. 4, but I'm just so happy because no leaks, everything works. I'm happy with the performance. It looks It looks stunning. I love the way it looks. Even from just sitting right here at this angle, it looks incredible. Looks incredible. Yeah. I was going to get into how I got the perfect mount, and I went into my, I have a, yeah, here we go. I have a closet where I keep all my tools. This is it here. So, because someone had inquired with EK, because people don't know how tight you're supposed to get these 4 screws that encircle the GPU die, right? So I use thermal putty on the VRAM, like I mentioned, and then I use a Torx screwdriver to 0.6 Newton meters. That's the secret. That's the secret to the perfect mount. And and that's one other thing too. These temperatures are with PTM 7950 that's only a few days old. I got this build done on Sunday. It's now Tuesday. It's Tuesday or Wednesday, but haven't been playing very much. So this is PTM 7950 that is only a few days old, and there's the old case for size comparison. Oh shit. PTM 7950 is only a few days old, and my understanding from what everyone's saying is that PTM 7950, unlike thermal paste, the temps of PTM 7950 only increase with or only improve with time, because it's a thermal pad that's designed around longevity, not performance. Oh, this is another technical hurdle that I had when I was actually designing this rig. As I was saying, all the runs are perfectly congruent with the body lines of the chassis. I don't think I understand how difficult this is to do when you have these long runs, to get them perfectly up and down, perfectly like this, right? Where they're not lopsided at all, the perfect length. This is not that easy. I have my drain valve on a rotary fitting, and because before, and that's another thing, I'll touch on one final thing. I'm sorry, this is getting longer than I would like, but I have a lot of things I'm going to touch on. First, I'm going to cover the drain valve, then I'm going to talk about the Aqualink pipe that's connecting the 2 front rads there behind, as you can see behind. And I just love how clean this looks. Like before, it was just this nightmare. You had this sitting here, you had the rad, and you had all these soft tubing. It was just visually, it was just visually kind of messy. One thing I like about the Corsair 9000D, which I really like versus the case that the View 71, is the View. It's not that much wider. Like I believe this is 11 inches. No, this is like, where's my measuring tape? The Corsair 9000D, believe it or not, is only like an inch wider than this View 71. Here in the View 71, you have all this wasted space. Like here you can see, like you can only fit a single 360 here. You can only fit a single 360. You can actually theoretically put a 420, which is a triple 140 rad setup. The problem is that you don't have enough space. The half of the top 140 fan will be cut off by all this stuff that's just doing nothing. To be fair, this case is from 2017. This is like an 8-year-old case, and it's I shouldn't. This case is a good case. I've used this case for 8 years now. I've had no problems. Love this case. But this is one thing, the improvements of the 9000D over this case, since we're on the subject. You can only fit a single 120 millimeter fan rad here because of all this unused space. But previously I had my drain valve, because the outlet to the 360 here was like all the way over here. The outlet was all the way over here, believe it or not. This is where the outlet was. So I had enough space to fit that drain valve oriented this way and still close the front case, and it just fit perfect. But this time around, because Corsair makes much more efficient use of the space, as you can see here, the radiator will come all the way to the very edge of the case. Right? You have no unused space here. But that can create a problem with a drain valve, because at least this particular drain valve is like what it looks like. It's like 3 inches long, You know, with the 90-degree angle fitting, it's like maybe 3.5 4 inches long altogether, and that would be sticking out to here. And when I was, because I did nothing but, you have no idea. It was almost like an obsession. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about design, how I was going to resolve issues that were coming up like this. Because I was like, I need to have a drain valve, and I preferably like to have a drain valve here, because usually it's like I have to service the GPU, whether I'm upgrading the GPU or I'm changing the water block or whatever the case. Usually 9 times out of 10 is the GPU. I just run distilled water. I'm not doing any coolant bullshit, right? So I typically don't even drain the loop. I just run distilled water and I just let it go, right? But this is ideal for me, at least. You want the drain, the lowest point of the loop, and so this is ideal because it'll drain the front rad and it'll drain the GPU, and I can take the GPU out without draining the whole loop. But I was like, how am I going to put this here? Because it's too big. And I remember that I had this rotary fitting. I had this little rotary fitting that allows me to rotate that whole drain valve in any direction, but I just have it 180 degrees that way because it looks cleaner. And then also down here, underneath, you can see that that's a Bits Power Aqualink pipe. And that's a really elegant way to connect two radiators that are side by side with their drain ports that are perfectly adjacent. And that is such an elegant solution to that issue. Because I was like, how am I going to connect? Because initially these are problems that came up in my mind, like how am I going to connect the front rads? They're going to have all this extra tubing, and so initially I just went with, I actually had ordered two 400 by 200 millimeter rads and 4 Noctua 200 millimeter fans. That was my initial build, and I have those sitting in my closet. Unfortunately, I ordered the radiators from eBay. And I don't want to be a dick about it and lie and say that they were damaged and do some kind of fraudulent shit. So I made the mistake. I'm out $300 in radiators and radiator fans that right now only exist as backup in case something should happen. Like if there's a fire and I'm able to salvage the chassis, I have the ability, or I have a friend who's like, dude, I have a 1000D or 9000D. And I'm like, yeah, I have these radiators for it. I don't know, but they're... Yeah, this build is more expensive than I thought it would because I bought too much crap. I bought additional radiators I didn't use. I bought these Bykski. They're called anti-off fittings, and they're fantastic. I didn't realize I had a need for these until I discovered a YouTube video where someone was testing the because Bykski claims that they're like 20 kilograms of resistance. They're like these little for hard tubing, it's almost like a compression fitting, but it's basically like a sleeve that goes around the tube and then it's squeezed in. They call it anti-off. And before I just had O-rings, and if you put enough force, you could pull that tube right out of the fitting. It didn't matter. 2 pounds of pressure, it'll come right out. And because I have this run here. That's full of liquid. So potentially that's weight, that's full of liquid. You get angle, right? Or say for heaven forbid, that GPU support there. You see that GPU support in the middle of the screen with the screw, right? Say that should fail and the GPU drops down an inch, right? And now you're just like, this whole thing could come apart. But fittings, I bought them, and sure enough, dude, it doesn't matter. 20 pounds of force, once that thing's screwed down correctly, it's real hard to get that thing apart with mechanical force. So I bought $170. I bought 18 of these stupid fittings, thinking that I was going to use all the fittings, but I ended up using the EK zero maintenance tubing fittings, compression fittings, because in the rear of the chassis, it's all zero maintenance tubing compression fittings. So I got those sitting in the bag. I mean, I wasted so much money. That's the thing when you go to build a system, you overbuy stuff.